I'm Sierra. I'm with Ogden Avalanche. I also patrol full-time up at Snow Basin Resort. This is the weekly snowpack update for the Ogden zone, the Northern Wasatch. We definitely have a mixed bag of things. Today, we actually got out for a little tour on the North Ogden Divide and got to poke around, but we'll start with an easier side of things. So more on the southern half of the compass. Solar radiation has done its thing over the past few days and locked up that side or capped it with a pretty good crust. So this morning when we went out early in the morning for a tour, we were kind of trudging along through a stout crust that then this afternoon, if you time it right over the last few days with the warm up that we've been seeing in the afternoon, actually skied pretty well. So we were skiing mid-elevation, what felt like spring turns, and that was actually a really nice reward. So solar side is kind of all about timing. We were at mid-elevations today, so we didn't see a whole lot of wet loose activity, but if you look on the UAC, there was a recent public ob that showed a significant wet loose that came off of Mount Allen Peak and went down into the Malin Basin drainage. So heads up for that with some recent warming. Turning more to the northern half of the compass, man, I'll start with the good. So on those true northerly facing slopes, like finding really good skiing. There's a lot of, we'll call it recycled loud pow right now. So it's all recrystallized on the surface. It sounds cool when you're skiing it and it's nice and soft, but we definitely have a mixed bag out there. We still have in our mid to upper elevation slopes on the compass, northwest through north through east aspects. We have that persistent weak layer on the ground that's now buried anywhere from 1 to 3 feet deep. And if you look at an image here, it shows this pretty stout slab that we found that's sitting on top of that weak layer underneath that we found in our pits today. And what's hard right now is while we're seeing some evidence of rounding, we're also not getting any feedback out there. So we haven't really seen many recent avalanches in the Ogden zone on that side of the compass, but there's an old saying, don't trust a facet till it's floating down the river under your boat. The season's going to be a marathon, and you don't want to let those facets goat you into the early sprint. We're going to be dealing with this persistent weak layer for a while, and while we haven't seen any recent activity on it, we're definitely in a period of scary moderate. So the hazard rating is moderate, but it's where that likelihood of triggering is going down, but the consequence is still fairly large if something did come down. So definitely we want to be heads up about that. We also today observed quite a bit of active wind loading on our tour. You can see with this photo, we were able to kick off just a small little wind slab on this test slope just as we were touring past it. And it was pretty touchy, and it had just loaded within the morning that we were up there. So it was definitely a good reminder that we have to remember that the hazard can change out there at any given moment, and we definitely want to be heads up when there's things like wind that could be depositing snow and moving it around into places we don't expect, things like changing temperatures, and then also rapid precipitation loading. Okay, so we're actually going into a pattern change Friday late afternoon, which is exciting. This is going to last through Saturday with this new front pushing in. We'll call it a couple inches, hopefully, to expect of new snow in this new little front and storm, but hopefully we can wring out a bit more moisture than is currently projected. We have been enjoying some warmer days recently, but that's going to change with this front. During the front and then well after it, expect temperatures to rapidly plummet. So we're going to see temps in the teens, even single digits overnight. And it's really going to feel like winter again. And then after Saturday, we're looking at another ridge of high pressure that's going to settle in for us. That's this week's Ogden Zone State of the Snowpack. Check in next week for another update. Thanks for tuning in.